the synthetic division when I give you a factor. Okay. So in this case, the given factor is 5. This is the technique that has to be done every single time now. We synthetically divide. You drop the first term. You don't put the 2 here and then add them. You drop the first term. 5 times 2 is 10. Negative 3 and 10 is 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Negative 29, 35 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. And that's 0. And we're going to factor what's left. 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. When I factor, it makes 0 sense to put the 2 with the 2x. Can't have a GCF in a parenthesis. Okay? So, when I factor this one here, I'm going to get, so my factors here, I'm going to put the 2 here and the 3 here. And they're both going to be positives. Okay? You can't forget to bring down that third factor, which is literally the one that's given to you. And then ultimately want the zeros. So, negative 3 half, negative 2, and 5. You have to include that third factor here. If you can't do the 0 in your head here, and you need to work it out, so be it. That's how I get my negative 3 halves. Second one, what makes that parenthesis equal to 0? Negative 4 does. So 8, 30, negative 23, negative 60. We dropped 8, we get negative 32. That's negative 2, we get a positive, we get a positive 8, we get negative 15. Negative 15 times negative 4 is a positive 60. And now I'm factoring what's left over. 8x squared minus 2x minus 15. I'm going to work with a 4x and a 2x. And I'm going to work with the 3 here and the 5 here. And that gets me to my middle term of negative 2x. 4x times negative 3 is negative 12. 5 times 2x is 10x. Negative 12x and 10x is my negative 2x. And I can't forget to include that given factor of x plus 4. Negative 5 fourths, 3 halves, and negative 4 are my zeros. And those are your answers. If you can't do 4x plus 5 in your head to get that 0, write it out. X equals negative 5 fourths. 2x minus 3 equals 0. 2x equals 3. X equals 3 halves. Write it out. Okay? When you have an x to the 4th problem, you're going to get 2 factors. So I'll start with the first one. 2 makes that first parenthesis equal to 0. 2, 1, negative 38, 41, and 30. Drop the 2, we get 4. 1 and 4 is 5, we get 10. Negative 28 times 2 is negative 56. We get negative 15. Negative 15 times 2 is negative 30, we get 0. Now I put the negative 5 in the box with the depressed equation. 2, 5, negative 28, and negative 15. Drop the 2, we get negative 10. Negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. We get a negative 3 times negative 15 is 15, and we get 0. 2x squared minus 5 minus 3. That factors to 2x and x, and my factors are 3. I'm going to put the 3 here and the 1 here. Negative, positive. And I've got to write my other 2 given factors down. My zeros is what makes each parenthesis equal to 0 here. Negative 1 half, 3, 2, and negative 5. Second one, same process. Negative 3 goes in the box. 6, 5, negative 39, 4, and 12. Drop the 6, negative 18, that's negative 13. 39, that gives me a 0. 0 and 4 is 4. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. And there's my 0. Now I'm going to put 2 in the box and synthetically divide again. 6, negative 13, 0, and 4. Drop the 6, we get 12. That's a negative 1 times 2 is a negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is a negative 4, and there's my 0. And now I'm going to factor 6x squared minus x minus 2. 3x and 2x. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Put the 2 with the 2. So I put the 2 here, it's a minus. Put the 1 here, that's a plus. And that gives me my negative x middle term. You do have to copy the 2 given factors down. 2/3, negative 1/2, negative 3, and 2 are my 4 zeros. You just set each parenthesis equal to 0 to get your zeros. So if you can't do 3x, you can't get to the 2/3, just setting 3x minus 2 equals 0 and solving for x. Setting 2x plus 1 equal to 0 and solving for x. Essentially what I have to do here is I have got to get the factors of the constant and the factors of the leading coefficient. These are the factors of the constant. These are the factors of the leading coefficient. Every factor of the constant goes over 1. So every factor of the constant is a potential solution. Every factor of the constant has to go over 2. So 1/2, 2 over 2 is 1, 3/2, 6 over 2 is 3. These are your potential solutions. That's worth points. That's the first thing you got to do. You've got to get the potential solutions. And now we're going to try them out. And chances are on the test, I'm not going to give it to you where it's the first one that works out. Okay? I'm nice, I'm not that nice. But what I can promise you is this. The answer will come in the first 6 options. So, let's start with 1. 2, 3, negative 11, negative 6. Drop the 2, we get 2. 3 and 2 is 5. 5 and 1 is 5. I get a negative 6. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. That's negative 12. Be careful. I can't tell you how many people look at that and go, don't worry about the signs, just 0. No. Your signs have to be correct. So 1 does not work. Let's try negative 1. Drop the 2, we get negative 2, that's 1. Negative 1, that's negative 12. That's 12, that becomes positive 6. That's no good. So let's try 2. Drop the 2, we get 4, this is 7, we get 14, this is 3, we get 6, there it is. So 2 creates a 0. I factor to get my others. 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. And that's 2x plus 1 times x plus 3. And I do have to include my other factor of 2 here. Since 2 is a 0, that factor is x minus 2. My 3 zeros, negative 1/2, negative 3 and 2. That's my final answer. When it's an x cubed, I'll only have to synthetically divide once. So here are my list of possible solutions. My factors of 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36. And my factors of 1 are simply 1. It's always nice to have a leading coefficient of 1. So my potential solutions are plus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 6, plus or minus 9, plus or minus 12, plus or minus 18, plus or minus 36. So there's my list of potential solutions. I'm going to get solutions out of the first set. start with 1. 1, 2, negative 23, 12, and 36. Drop the 1, we get 1. 3, we have negative 20. Negative 20 and 12, negative 8, negative 8. We get 28. That's no good. Okay, let's try negative 1. Drop the 1, we have negative 1. So 2 and negative 1 is 2 and negative 1 is 1. Negative 1, we get negative 24. Here we get a positive 24, that's 36. Negative 36, we get 0. So negative 1 works. You have to try negative 1 again. Okay? You don't have to try 1 again with this depressed equation. It will not work. 1 doesn't work on the original. It won't work on the depressed. Negative 1 could work again. 1, we have negative 1, that's 0. And that ends up being 60, that's no good. All right, so now we move on to 2. 1, we have 2, that's 3. 3 times 2 is 6. That's a negative 18. Negative 36 and 0, there's my second factor. So now we're going to factor the depressed equation. X squared plus 3x minus 18. That's x plus 6, x minus 3, and then my other two factors, x plus 1 and x minus 2. We always change the signs from the number in the box. And then my zeros, negative 6, 3, negative 1, and 2. So this type of problem here, we're just changing the sign in front of each number. The denominator goes in front of x. The numerator goes in front of, or is the constant by itself. So this right here is the setup. You need to FOIL x squared plus minus 2x plus 3x minus 6. 6x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 4. And then we're going to combine our middle terms. So this is what should be FOILed and what should be on your paper. And now I'm going to take the x squared and multiply through everything. 6x to the fourth. 5x cubed minus 4x squared. I'm going to multiply everything through, multiply everything by x now. Plus 6x cubed, 5x squared minus 4x. And then we're going to multiply everything through by negative 6. Negative 36x squared minus 30x plus 24. And then you just finish by combining like terms. 6x to the fourth, 5x cubed and 6x cubed is 11x cubed. Negative 4x squared and positive 5x squared is an x squared. Minus 36x squared is negative 35x squared. Negative 4x and negative 30x is negative 34x. And then plus 24.